Now that our bow's fully assembled and we've got all the components on it, I feel it's important that we do a final check to make sure that we've set it all up correctly. Now, a good way to do this would be to shoot an arrow through paper. Now, it's not critical that we get a perfect bullet hole on this, but as long as the paper tear that we get from our arrow is less than 1 inch, that means that our bow is set up well enough. So, in order to demonstrate this, me and Neil are each going to use our tournament bows to shoot 1 arrow through paper. So, now that I've shot one of my arrows out of my bow through paper, we can see that the point of the arrow has gone through the bottom of the hole there, and the nock is at the top with deflections there and there. So, as you can see, it's not a perfect bullet hole, but it's probably a tear of less than 1 inch, which is okay, and that means that we've got a good starting point to do more advanced tuning with our bow. It's important to note that if you've got a tear of any more than 2 inches, it might be important to revisit earlier stages of the DVD and check that you've followed all of the steps correctly. If you're still having issues, then it might be a good idea to go to your local pro shop and check with them that the setup of the bow is correct and there's no massive errors that you've done. So, now that we've got our bow all set up, it's important that we take some vital measurements for the bow, because if anything were to move on it, we want to make sure we can get the bow set exactly as it is now while it's shooting really great. So, the first measurement we're going to take from it is the axle to axle length, as we discussed earlier. Now I'm going to measure that from that axle to that axle using a tape rule. It comes up as 970 millimeters, so I'm going to record that. The next thing to check on your bow will be the brace height. So that comes up as 170 millimeters. The next important thing to check will be that our knocking point is still in the same place as we set it. And I can see that it's still roughly 3 millimeters above center. So let's write that down as well. The next important thing will be to check that the blade is set perfectly in the center of the hole, which we can see that it is. Also, if you've got a digital camera, it might be a good idea to take a picture of the cam position to see where it is. If not, then maybe we could draw a line, as I have on my bow, on the cam to see where the limb falls. We're going to do that now. Now, if the cam were to move, we'd see that the line would disappear behind the limb, so therefore we'd know if any movement had occurred. And the final thing we need to record is the poundage of the bow. To do this, we're going to use the bow scale to weigh it as we did earlier on in the poundage section. Yep, 59 pound. So finally, I can record that. And that's the final setting we need to record. Now, if anything untoward were to happen to our bow, we know that we can follow these settings and get the bow exactly as it is now, so it'll shoot just as great. Hopefully that's given you an insight into our methods that we use to set up our bows. Be sure to look out for the next DVD in the series, which will be based on shooting form. Thanks for watching.